Hey guys, what is going on? Something a little bit different now to usual. We're going to be looking at a user submitted demo review. A lot of you have been requesting it, so hopefully you enjoy this one. So we've got Dahl here. He's a player from Denmark, and this particular game is the intermediate of the ESEA League. So not the lowest rank, it's the one above the Open. So not your worst player, but definitely not your best player either. So Dahl submitted this demo here. He thinks that he gets away with out-aiming opponents rather than outplaying them in good positioning and good utility usage. And he's 100% right on this assessment. So we're going to look at what he can do better. So in this particular round here, we're going to be, or this particular game, sorry, we're going to be on Nuke. It is the old version of Nuke, but what I'm going to talk about, it doesn't really affect much at all. It's neither here or there for this one. So to start off with, got a peek out secret, a very standard kind of setup here from the CT side. We got a player at ramp, 2 inside, the AWPer, in this particular the scout, because they have saved their money over trying to go for that bonus round in the 4th one. So a very standard setup, good timing here to peek out secrets. This is good. However, right now, you've done your damage, you've fallen away, you haven't committed to the kill, but you've got the information there's 2 players behind red. There's now, but think about this, there's 2 players there, both who are going to be looking in your direction right now. And you re-peeking like you're going to, you haven't even cancelled your spray. Right there, they should both be shooting at you right now, and you should be dead if the enemy was any good. Or if they maybe just got lucky in this situation, you should be dead re-peeking like this. So that's mistake number 1, is once you get the information, you should just fall back into these halls area, give them these secret stairs. Now, continuing with that, you stopped a Molotov. This is an unnecessary place to Molotov. You're not really gaining anything here. Your teammates aren't going to rotate off of players stopping outside. So if you think about the map here, if you stop the T's here, this is so far away, it doesn't warrant a rotate from maybe your A player to come down vent to help out. So you don't really have any information. All you're doing is delaying time for yourself to fall away. And with these halls, you don't need time to fall away. So look how long you stop this Molotov. And then you fall back, and then you're falling back here. So even with the Molotov being thrown, you still have time to get to this angle at the same time he's able to peek you. So think about how easily and comfortably you could be behind this wall before they can see you. So again, they have a chance to pick you off. You're going to keep falling away. And the next angle here, all the way through these tunnels. So important thing to note with this tunnels area is they are all very close angles. Like these corners are all very easy to fall back on. Sean Gares has a very good video about how Kenny S uses these angles when AWPing, so I suggest you check that out. I might link it below if I remember. So you're falling back between all these angles, and this is correct. Dropping your smoke in this particular area is a good idea. This is where I would like to see you use the Molotov as well. And this denies information. So right now, when 2 T's have pushed that far down secret, this is when you might want to think about your rotate, and that's exactly what's happened. Dine here is thinking about rotating down towards B, and then you should see the rotate come in from all your teammates. So this player rotates down to help out at B, you're already down at B, you end up leaving 1 player here on A, and then Angel from the heaven position should be the one rotating over to cover ramp, if you're relatively confident this is going to be some kind of secret outside hit. In this particular round it's not, and it's not really your fault that this happens, so we play this one through, but Angel gets picked off, the other A player gets picked off, end up going to die. You've re-aggressed into secret. I don't mind this because you're in a 2v4 now. You want to maybe try and find someone lurking around there, still turn it into a 2v3. But ultimately, you're left in a 1v4 and there's not really much you can do. So the main thing to take away for it is how you move in those B holes, use your utility, and how you're gaining control and calling in for retakes in these team setup scenarios. Another thing you want to be thinking about is what the T side is trying to achieve with their utility usage. So right now, if I pause it, you've seen a smokes come out a little bit deep, but this is often one to either deny information or 2 go for some kind of vent drop. The door is also blown off, which can suggest that a lot of players might be piling out the door area. In this particular scenario, it's not the case, only ping is there. However, this smoke is bad. I don't know if you think maybe you can capitalize off a bad smoke, but you decide to peek out in front of it. And you do go down here in the 1v1, and it is 1 player here, but I just want you to think about what I've just talked about with it's often a rush, a lot of players coming out the door with it being blown off like this. The fact that you could be facing multiple T players here, you're in a 5v5, it's only a minute 40 left on the clock. You don't really want to be giving up this early pick so early in the round. And that's exactly what you do here. It is only a 1v1, but you still go down and put your team in a difficult scenario for the rest of the round. So it's important to be thinking about what the T side is trying to achieve with their own utility usage and trying to adapt off this. In round 7, we see a perfect example of what you're talking about, where you just out-aim people rather than play the smart game, play the numbers game. To start off with here, a bit of pressure is applied outside towards your AWPer. You smokes and stuff go down, you have a peek into door. This isn't a bad idea, and you smoke it off. Now right there, you've smoked it off, which is fine. Smoking off the door, especially when they've blown it open, was a regular thing from the T side in this game. You've jumped off from the hut. You haven't walked down slowly. And this is a huge, I guess, sound cue, I guess, just ping to know someone's jumped off the hut towards the vent side of a site. He should have turned around right now and killed you. I don't know if he doesn't have sound, doesn't have good sound, what's going on in his life, but he should have heard you right now. Secondly, with you peeking in here, there's only one angle that the T side has to worry about, which is this window angle right there. Your teammates have smoked off the other entrance, so I don't know what ping is looking at. Yeah, maybe he likes smoke or something, I'm not really sure, but he hasn't reacted at all. So you get away with murder in this one, literally. So there's not mistake number one, I mean, you got the kill, so there's not much to complain about. But number two here is you decide to turn around, you go for a very aggressive peek. Look how wide you swing here, and I'm not really sure what the idea behind this was. You were still very exposed there to Nick as you were swinging around. You had no regard for anyone else left in the hut area. None of your teammates are left to cover you. Angel's looking at this way, but the angle that you could be seen through was all the way from where Nick was. Again, though, you just straight win the fight, even though you're swinging extremely wide, and there's not really much reason to. I don't know if your idea was to peek out here towards anyone coming down this angle, which is, again, it's a little bit unnecessary to swing out there. You can sit there and hold. You are invisible at the moment, so that might have helped you a little bit in this fight. But let's pretend you weren't invisible in this fight. Because you can definitely swing out wide here and more likely get caught off guard. Whereas if you just hold from in the hut somewhere area, you can hold anyone maybe jumping off silo, anyone swinging around like this. But instead you look like you're trying to take the fight with everyone else, instead of letting him come into your crosshair. And even though you win this fight, it would have been made a lot easier and didn't require such an aggressive flick to win this duel. If you just hold the angle, not exposing yourself to hut. Again, you've just swung back in an angle where Nick should have punished you. Again, somehow you've got away with him being completely oblivious. I mean, he knows you're in the annex area, yet he's come out hut, hasn't looked at that angle at all. He could have easily punished you. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about what the T side is doing. You swing back, obviously you heard that guy or could see him a little bit, and you win the duel. So that's a 4K. I mean, that looks very good on paper. Very good for your RWS in the ESCA game, but it's just very over-aggressive, and you gave a lot of cues and a lot of opportunities for the T side to kill you, which they didn't take. But against high-level opponents, which you've told me is where you want to see yourself, you want to try and grow, this kind of play will not work. You'll get shut down straight away. The T side pistol. You're one of the utility men, so you're obviously up on the roof. You've also got a teammate throwing a smoke and a couple of flashes. Actually, he's inside though, so you're going to be the last one in on this take, preferably or unsurprisingly. So the mini smoke comes in, that's a little bit interesting. But then we'll notice you and your teammate are here. You got stuck behind a Molotov. Good counter utility from the CT. But you are going to come out here in the end and get the pick and take the site. So you get the pick on the ground floor. And right now you think about what's open. You've just smoked off mini. Admittedly, it is a bad smoke, as we'll see in a second. And you decide to push out this side of the silos. So right now there's a couple of things going wrong. The good one, I'll start with the positive. The positive, Snoozy is covering Heaven. You should be covering Heaven with him. You definitely want to shut down this Heaven area. And then while this is going on, your teammate who has the bomb shouldn't be planning open for Annex. He should be planning Heaven as well, where you and your teammate can concentrate on, make sure he's not open to any fire. Instead, your teammate plants open. And this gives Deeg a chance to do a lot of damage. Bill is in a position to cover you. So there's two areas in this one. Number one, your positioning, you should be covering Heaven rather than Annex. But your positioning could be put down to the fact that the bomb's being planted on the opposite side to what it should be. 4v3, about to be a 4v2 when Snoozy gets this pick. So Deeg manages to get a couple of picks. One, because the smoke is bad. So there's a lot of team elements involved in this one and a lot of things that are going wrong. But your positioning right now, you go down. I would hope for is that Heaven would be covered, the bomb would be planted on the side, and then instead of running around in the open like this, even if the smoke is bad, wouldn't matter in this scenario, because then I'd have you run back into the hut area and think about after plant. You can then cover off this whole flank area. Bill doesn't have to worry about a flank. He can wiggle around the door. He can be annoying, cover off anyone trying to push in from Annex. You've got one player in Snoozy here who can move to behind the silo. He can be watching Heaven, along with Angel could possibly join you in the hut or even try and get on top of it to cover off Heaven or swing. You can kind of be like the swing man who covers either way. So in a 4v2, you're in a very good scenario. However, your after plant positioning, or even as the bomb's just going down here, your positioning is not good, especially for the side the bomb's being planted on. And really it all stems from the fact that the bomb's been planted on the wrong side of the silo for the control you have as a team. You might have thought this smoke was good, which could be the reason you're playing this side, but the way Angel threw that smoke, it was so loose, he should know himself, and he's the one with the bomb, that smoke could definitely not be perfect. This is a lot of team things to be considered. D gets a couple of kills, and this round ends up becoming a lot more difficult to you. Instead of being a 4v2 after plant, you've ended up turning it into a 2v2 with the bomb still in your hands, but you have to re-aggress somewhere. Round 25. This does relate to the old nuke a little bit. You found an opening, the pickers come outside, you can see the body there on the floor. So you found a bit of opening to go for a flank. You end up getting a nice flank in here, where you do get a kill and really open this round up for your team. So I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. So you're being very cautious here, making sure no one's going to come out of secret or something. And the CT side is a little bit unaware. So you find this first pick, it's a little bit messy, but there's your pick straight away. And this is the cue, you see nothing here, your team is already about to Molotov off Mini. So this is fine. So right now you're in a 4v2, you're smoking off your team, I guess you just want to extinguish the Molotov for them. The pick comes through here, and this is good. This Molotov, you want to try and hold this position, try not let anyone push through while your teammate is planting the bomb. Now right now, there's my problem right there, is what is that flash achieving? You've just flashed towards the Mini area, and I don't know if this is another miscommunication, but Angel, he doesn't do anything with this flash. So you flashed right now, nothing really happens, Angel doesn't peek or anything, he's just smoked off HUD again. So there we go again, and again right now, another flash. Again, it's achieving nothing. Angel doesn't peek off it. And what you could have done here is Angel can be jiggling these angles. He can be trying to find where the pick's going to be. Because these solos, you can do that. You can jiggle towards hut. You can jiggle towards annex area. And then you can throw these flashes for him to peek off them. And you can really delay the CT side. Instead, you're chucking all your utilities straight away. The Molotov wasn't bad. I don't mind the Molotov trying to cut off rotations just while your teammate's playing the bomb. These flashes could have been used a lot more effectively. And to be honest, even pro players do it. You see on the highest level of play, they just throw utility. It seems to be for the sake of throwing utility. That's exactly what you're doing here. You can hang on to these. You can be a much more effective. Of course, though, you'd want to check below. No one's going to come up and flank you before you flash. And then flash for your teammate. He'd be able to pick. So if we look at Angel's point of view, we'll see the flash comes in from the annex area. So we know one player is coming in from annex just from sound cues. You could now check behind you, and then you could flash out of this top area. Angel could peek out, but instead he's having to peek dry. He gets picked off. Your position's given up. I'd want you to check that maybe a little bit harder. Look straight down the ladder to know where two players are coming from. They double molly you, and just like that, the round's over. Just think about the utility you're using. Think about, what am I gaining from using this utility? I'm not just throwing it for the sake of it. And as I said, all levels of play do it. So that's not anything to be, it's something to be concerned about, but don't be too down about it. But some of the other things I've said, maybe be a little bit down about it. But you know, if you can improve, that's great. Let's see if this one, guys. If you like this kind of content, or all my content in general, think about supporting me on Patreon. None of my videos are still monetized because YouTube doesn't love me at all. And that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your weekends.